I think every country's got a problem with sectarianism. I don't think there's any country that doesn't. I think the good thing is that we've identified what the problem is, or we're starting to identify and put parameters around it. And I think we're moving in the right direction to try and eliminate it. You'll never eliminate it totally, but you're trying to manage it to some extent. It becomes such a small issue. I think it's related to lots of issues. I think it's related to historically where it's come from. It's a lack of understanding. I think it's related to religion. It's related to lack of knowledge. It's related to lack of racial tolerance. Right across the board, anything where there's a difference between people, whether it's homosexuality or whether it's religion, whatever, it cuts across all those divides, and it's a bigger, all-encompassing factor, I believe. Well, I think the name of the country would be Utopia. It would be a wonderful place. But as I say, I think it's everywhere. It's in every country. I think all we can do is minimise it and celebrate the successes. And as far as I can see, successes are being, it's not as bad as what it was last year. It wasn't as bad as it was 20 years ago. It wasn't as bad as what it was 60 years ago. So I think we're moving significantly towards a better place. And, I applaud the investment in trying to take us there. I have. It depends what way you describe it, and again, it's part of the difficulties we have with this whole area is in the definitions. When I started work, the first job I applied for, somebody came up to me and said, "How did you get a job here?" And because I was one of the first Catholics in an organisation employed 600 people, and that was in 1981. That's not that long ago. And the only reason I got the job is the two people in the post room who used to rip up all the applications from the Catholic schools on it, managed to be allowed to go on holiday together. And it was an attempt that came in, and during that week there was several of us get through for interview. But that's endemic. That was in Glasgow. That's the way it was. But the generation before that, my father was told he had to stop being a Catholic to try and get a job, an apprenticeship in a shipyard in Glasgow, where there was no Catholics employed. So that gives you a little bit of the personal background. I'm not religious, never have been, but I came with a badge, and unfortunately that's part of the badge that society deals with you. I think it's all about joined up efforts from lots of different people. I think it's all about education. There's some people who you'll never be able to educate. We've just got to accept that. But I think the bigger picture is just as terminology and comments that people have used maybe years ago are no longer acceptable. I think we've got to continue to push in that direction to make sure that we all understand what the problem is and look at how we can fix the problem, and then get a unified understanding right across the country, and that we push as hard as we can. Just like any other, it's campaigns, whether it's drink driving, is it acceptable? No, of course it's not. So you've got to have the message, explain why it's not acceptable, and then get as many people on board as possible to try and relay that message right through the generations. And it's going both ways, down into the schools with the kids, but also up the generations to those from a previous generation who maybe think some of that stuff is acceptable.